Hi everybody, and welcome to episode number 12 of Driftless Knitting. My name is Jennifer, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter. You can find the podcast group on Ravelry under Driftless Knitting if you search for that in the Groups tab. And we do have a thread going on right now of introductions. You can go on there, talk about your crafting life, tell us, your favorite projects to work on, your favorite materials to use. That'd be, really fun to get to know you a little bit in that way. And I will be starting a thread or two coming up here for some knit-alongs that I have planned. And I will talk about those a little further in the episode, so stay tuned for that. And as you guys know, if you subscribe to my channel, I have been posting a couple of vlog videos the last few days, and I'm not gonna do the Vlogmas like some podcasters are, where you film every day and post one every day. It just seems like it's just a little overwhelming to me, but it's super fun to be filming little episodes of my everyday life. So I'll probably do a couple more throughout the month of December and around the holidays, but I just wanted to kind of chronicle the snowstorm that we had over the last couple days. So it started on Saturday, and I did film a little bit on Saturday, and continued all day, or I guess all night, Saturday night into Sunday, and then all day Sunday. We got about 7 inches all said and done, I think. And I actually had a snow day yesterday, which I didn't think I would ever have again because I'm not in school. But I did not end up going to Yarnology for work yesterday on Sunday, and I just didn't want to risk driving up there. I mean, it's not too far of a drive. It's about half an hour. A lot of it is done on the highway, and they were kind of reporting some slippery conditions, snow-covered roads, and I was just kind of uncomfortable about trying that out. I have a little car, and my car does not have four-wheel drive. And I don't know, it was a little nerve-wracking for me to think about getting out there and not knowing what was lying ahead. So my lovely friend Lisa from Three Sisters Fiber Company, who, as you know, also works at Yarnology, she texted me about an hour before I was going to have to leave, and she asked if I wanted her to work for me. And that was just such a relief, because I had been feeling a little guilty about not wanting to go or not feeling comfortable going. It's like, it's my shift at work, it's my responsibility, I could probably make it there, but, just that unknown and I don't know, dangerous driving conditions, you don't always want to risk that. So I just felt so grateful for her for reaching out, and thank you, Lisa. You made that decision much easier, and I felt so much better about it. So yeah, so this is kind of like my second day off in a row, and I have another day off tomorrow. So I have a 3-day weekend, guys. This is kind of awesome. It comes just in time because I'm trying to get through all my Christmas knitting. And speaking of Christmas knitting, shall we jump right into works in progress? I think we should. I have a couple works in progress and two finished objects, but they're really good. So I'm really excited. Put my coffee down. Okay, so if my wonderful cousin Lisa is watching, hi Lisa, I will ask you right now to maybe just close your eyes for a second and maybe plug your ears, because I am going to be showing off one of her children's Christmas presents, her daughter Lena. And I'm kind of excited for Lisa to see these presents kind of on Christmas Day all together, finished, ready to go, and I don't want the surprise to be ruined. So Lisa, if you're watching, just turn away for a couple of minutes. And I talked pretty extensively about this. Sorry, I'm just grabbing it off the floor. I talked pretty extensively about this last week because I had finished both Cowl and Anders, those are her two sons. I had finished their presents, and it's the same thing. I'm making 3 of them, one for each kid, and it is the Dalton Dino Cowl. It doesn't look like much right now, but this is the cowl part, and you can see there are the buttonholes on the end. There's 3 of them, and this will be longer. This is about half of it, and it will be able to wrap around her neck and button. And then there's a hood that I will pick up along the top here. I'll pick up stitches and knit a hood, and that hood will have dino spikes going down the back of the neck. And if you watched last week, you know exactly what I'm talking about because I had the other 2 pretty much completely finished. And then I just started Lena's yesterday. This is such a mindless knit. It's a double moss stitch. You can see it there. Knit 2, purl 2 across, and then you flip it over and it's purl 2, knit 2. So it's just the opposite. And this is being knit on a size 15. Yep, size 15 needle, and these are my, you can see the join a little bit there. These are my Addie Click needles in the long lace set. So this is my one and only set of interchangeables. I got these a couple of years ago as a Christmas present, and I love them. I love them so much. What I love the most about them is the point and the finish. So they have the lace point of the Addie like lace needles, but the finish of the turbo needles. And if this sounds familiar to you, it is because this is what the Addie sock rockets, this is what they are. So they have the lace point and the turbo finish. So nice and slick, nice and pointy. I like it. And I like the joins on here. They're not too bad. The only time I find them a little annoying is if I'm using fingering weight yarn with the interchangeables, which I do pretty often because I like to knit shawls and sweaters out of fingering weight yarn. And these are of course, my needles of choice. So sometimes it gets a little frustrating because the smaller, thinner yarn will catch on the join, but you kind of, I don't know, after a while I do think I kind of forget about it. When I first start a project like that, and I'm kind of like having to like push them up on the needle, but after a while I completely forget and it just kind of becomes more natural. So yeah, so this is, like I said, the cowl is about halfway done, and then I'll knit the hood, and put the little spikes on there and everything, and I'll probably have this done in maybe a day or 2. It just goes so fast with the super bulky yarn. I didn't tell you what the yarn is. So this is Lana Grande from Cascade, and this is the, oh, I can't remember what the color is called. It's like hot rod pink, maybe. I don't know. It's they're like hot pink. The only hot pink that they sell in Lana Grande. So, yeah. And yeah, I really like these. This is my 3rd one, like I said, and I'm still enjoying it. I did take a break in between. I did the first 2 kind of back to back, and then I took a little break, and then I'm now knitting the 3rd one, and yeah, it should be done pretty quickly. So, my next work in progress is both a work in progress and a knitting fail, in a way. I'll explain about that. Okay, so this is my Christmas present to my sister. And I'm pretty much going to tell my sister not to watch this episode until after Christmas, because not only am I talking about her Christmas present, I will also be showing off the sweater that I was making for her son, for my beautiful nephew. Handsome, beautiful, he's beautiful, nephew Ronan, her son. And yeah, so I'm just gonna, she's behind anyway, so I'll just be like, I'll just tell her, save this one for after the holidays. There will be too many spoilers in it. So I started knitting this late Saturday night, did the first little part of it, and then knit the rest of it yesterday. And let me first tell you what it is I'm making. So this is The Reading Mitten by Lotta Gregor. And let me show this to you. Can you see the picture? I know it's not the best picture on this pattern, but... So my sister she has her master's in library science. And she works she used to work in a library. Now she works in like a collection of libraries. Like it's almost like they manage all these libraries. It's kind of hard to explain. But it's a library system, I guess. And she does work for all these different libraries that are a part of the library system. And so these are just absolutely perfect. They're absolutely perfect. And my sister, Jill has always been a huge bookworm. She taught herself to read when she was like 3. And my entire life she has been reading books to me. We have been reading together. We read the whole Harry Potter series together. She read them out loud to me while I was doing various activities. I would always be coloring or making friendship bracelets, or, that was before I knit, so it would have been prime knitting time. Now I'm looking back at that and just kicking myself. Why wasn't I knitting? Anyway, and of course this started out when I was like 7, 8 maybe. When did the first Harry Potter come out? 9? I think I was 9, because Jill was 11. She was the age you would be when you first went to Hogwarts. Yes, I remember that. She's 2 years older than me. So I was 9 years old when the first Harry Potter book came out, and Jill, I remember, read it first. She, read it to herself, and I remember her talking to me about it and just saying how much I would love it, and she wanted to read it to me. And we did this all the time with various books. She would, she'd be reading out loud, which is something that she did. Sorry, Jill, I'm giving away your secrets, but she would do that anyway. Even if there was no one there to listen, she would read out loud, and that was just kind of her own thing, the way she processed, books and stuff. And so I would kind of sometimes sneak into her room and listen to her while she was reading. Sometimes we would plan it. She would come ask me, oh, do you want to, I'm going to read, do you want to listen? But sometimes I would just kind of like open the door and like sit inside her doorway in her bedroom while she was reading, and I'd listen. But the Harry Potter books, she read them first by herself, the first one by herself, and then she told me how much I would love it, and she wanted to read it to me. And that's how this whole thing got started. So we read the first 2 or 3. I think the first 3 were out at that point, or had come out very, soon after each other. And, so we read the first 3 together, and then the 4th one came out on around my 10th birthday, so we, as soon as that one came out, we read it out loud together, and then we waited when the 5th one, and then the 6th, and then the 7th came out, and we read each of those. She read those out loud to me. And even the 7th one came out when I was a senior in high school, and she was already in college, and so we kind of had to coordinate when, we were going to read it, and I think we both ended up reading it first, separate, and then she read it out loud to me again, and because we just didn't want to break that tradition. We had done it for all the books. So anyway, long tangent, but Jill and I have always been reading together. We've always been big book lovers, and so I thought these reading mittens were perfect. And she works in a library. Her office is often chilly. Perfect. She can type on the computer. She can do all of her work while she's wearing these amazing book mittens. The one hang up with this, and I'll show you the picture again. So you knit them from the cuff up, and as you can tell there's 4 or 5 different colors happening all at the same time. And that didn't really faze me at first. I'm like, color work. I've done color work. That's fine. But this is color work to the extreme. And I have never stranded with more than 2 colors before. So I'm like, and there's like 8 projects on Ravelry, I think. Like, how did these people do it? Duplicate stitch. Duh. Okay, most of the people who have done these mittens duplicate stitch the books, the pattern onto the mitten. I'm like, I hate duplicate stitch. I'm not doing that. I will figure out a way to strand these mittens. So then I'm thinking, okay, how about intarsia? So I have a little ball of yarn connected to each little chunk of color. I'll just do intarsia. Intarsia in the round is almost impossible. So then I went on YouTube. I'm like, okay, I know people do it. How do they do it? So I watched this tutorial on how to do intarsia in the round. And I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, I can do this. And then I started thinking about how awful it was going to be. Having like 12 little balls of yarn connected while I'm trying to do intarsia in the round. And I just realized I was going to be miserable the entire time I was doing this. And there are 2. This is a pair. So not only do I have to do the first one, I would have to turn around and do a second one. And I'm like, no, there's no way. So then I went back on Ravelry. I looked at everyone's projects, and I saw that there was a pair of mittens that only did 2 colors. 2 colors plus the main color. And I thought, okay, stranding 3 colors really won't be that bad. I can do that. So I started, and it was going okay. The stranding itself wasn't too bad. Excuse me. It wasn't awful. I got about 6 or 7 rows done in the color work portion of it. And then I kind of assessed the situation. And I realized that my stranding was way too tight. And she was never going to be able to get it over her hand. And I didn't throw the project across the room. You will be happy to hear. I was kind of just sad because this seems like such the perfect project for her, and it's so pretty and cool looking, and the colors I was using are just really pretty, but I frogged it this morning. Not all of it, but the color work part. I ripped it out. I was gonna wait until I showed you guys, but then I woke up as I was drinking my coffee. I was on the couch. The project was sitting next to me. I looked at it and I just thought, I can't even stand having it next to me, and so I just ripped it all out. I did catch my stitches though, and cord in the way. So this is the base of the mitten, and I loved knitting this. This is out of one of my favorite yarns, which is Tosh Merino Light by Madeline Tosh, of course. And this colorway, guys, this is called Parchment. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm not sure if you can see, if the lighting is good enough to see all the little variations of color, but there are tans and white, a little bit of gray in there, and I just think it's gorgeous. I have a few more skeins of this, actually, and I plan on knitting a sweater for myself. Yay! But anyway, I thought I could spare a little bit of yarn for my sister's little mittens. And that is... So the color work started about here. This is that brown, those brown rows. That's like the shelf that the books are sitting on. And I had started knitting with these 2 colors. So these are Madeline Tosh Unicorn Tails, and I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors in here, including these, and I was planning at first on doing sorry, I'm still laughing at myself because I'd be stranding 6 colors at the same time. I don't know what I was thinking. So then when I decided that I was just going to do the two colors, I wanted to do these two because I think this burgundy and this is like a lighter brown. I thought they were just gorgeous. And I thought they went super, super well with the dark brown of the shelf and the tan of the parchment colorway. And it was gorgeous. The colors just were awesome together. But yeah, it was just too tight. So now I'm not exactly sure what to do. I could try again, and I could go up a needle size. Like they kind of suggest that in the pattern, to switch needle sizes to a larger needle as you start the color work, because stranding in general just tends to be tighter. Or I could just do something completely different with this. I still want to make her a pair of fingerless mitts, and I still love these colors, but I was thinking maybe I would just stripe them. Do, a couple stripes or a couple rows of each color and kind of just mix these colors in. Let me show you the other colors that I have. Where's that one? There we go. So you saw the dark brown. This is the dark brown that is already in the mitten. And then these two. Oh man, the lighting is terrible. So this is a dark blue and this is a gold, obviously. And they just all go so well together, and they're just beautiful. And so I did want a way to incorporate all of these colors into this mitten. So maybe I'll just do some fun, playful, random stripes throughout it and give up on the book motif, which makes me extremely sad because I was so excited to make these for her. Like, even now, I'm like, is there, like, maybe I can find a way. But I'm worried that it's going to be way too stressful, that I'm going to hate it, that it's going to take me forever. I still have other projects to knit for Christmas presents. So, yeah. I'm sad. I'm sad. Okay. I'll get over it. I will. And she, she won't care, and she likes, pretty much anything I make her, and I don't know, I love my sister so much, and I always want to do, like, something extremely special for her. Last year, I knit this crazy shawl with this huge applied border that was this crazy Celtic cable along the side that the border itself took me like a month to do. I know, it was out of fingering weight yarn. And I was just determined to make this shawl for her because Jill is kind of obsessed with Ireland and the Irish culture, and they've been to Ireland a couple of times, and I saw this pattern and my brain just latched onto it, and I said, I have to make this for her. Even though I hated it by the end and it was painful as all get out, but I just needed to make it for her. And I feel like this is kind of the same thing, where this might cause me immense pain, but I'm so stuck on it. But I know she wouldn't want me to do anything that I hate doing. And, those aren't the vibes that you want to be putting out there when you're making something for someone. So we'll see what I decide. I'll probably end up doing something that's just incorporating those colors and doing something pretty for her that she can wear at work. But maybe I'll show her the original picture and say, this is what you almost got. This is what I almost made you. And then I stopped because I couldn't handle it anymore. So, yeah. So, let's move on to some finished objects. I'm pretty excited about this week's finished objects, I have to tell you. My first finished object is a hat for my stepdad. And this hat you may recognize, because this is my pattern, Autumn Spice. And it is a seated rib oh my gosh, you guys, if you could, I wish you could feel how squishy this is. Because this is knit out of Angel's Kiss alpaca, and I bought this so long ago, I don't even remember what the colorway is called. I actually knit a vest out of this yarn, like has a cable down the front that I wear, but this was almost a full skein left over, and it's been in my stash for a little while, and I just thought it was the perfect kind of rustic looking yarn, super warm of course because it's a blend of merino and alpaca yarn, and I just thought Mook, that's my stepdad, he would really like this and actually wear it, hopefully. So, yay. So I did that, and this knit up in about a day and a half, I think. I started it Friday night at work. We had a bit of a later day because we had a sample sale event going on, and so I knit it for a couple hours that night, and then I finished it on Saturday during the day. So yeah, so that was really fun to do, and it was kind of fun to go back to this pattern that I made two of them pretty quickly, back to back while I was trying to get the pattern out, and then it's been a couple of months, and so to go back to it was really fun, and to kind of read my own directions. It was a little odd, but it was fun too, and I just keep rubbing it and squishing it because it's so squishy. I love it. Anyway, it's Autumn Spice on Ravelry, and I want to keep it actually for myself, but I won't. So tempting! Okay, so that was finished object number 1. Finished object number 2. I'm saving the best for last because I showed you guys this halfway finished last week. Sorry, I cannot get enough. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So this is probably one of my favorite things I have ever made. I'm just gonna let the magnitude of that soak in because I have knit a lot of things. I have knit a lot of things, people. This is one of my favorites. This is the Gramps cardigan from Tin Can Knits. And this is in the 1 to 2 year size, I believe, although I did knit it in a DK. So it's a little, tiny bit smaller than what the pattern, says it will turn out. Though this is a single ply DK, so the loft of it kind of fills in the gaps. Look at those elbow patches. Oh my gosh. And the little pockets and the buttons. I just sewed the buttons on last night, and they're made of wood, but I almost think they have that almost leathery look that a lot of old sweaters have. Old grandpa cardigans have. So, and like I said, this is a single ply DK. It's Madeline Tosh Merino Light, and the blue here is called Flycatcher Blue, and then the grayish tan is Kitten. And these two colors were in my stash already. I saw them together, I thought they were just gorgeous together, and we were kind of discounting and getting ready to let go of this line of yarn at Yarnology, and I thought I needed to have these colors because I actually did want to put them together. I thought they looked perfect together, and so they've been in my stash for probably close to a year. And then when I saw this pattern, I knew I wanted to make this for my nephew Ronan because it's just so cute. And then I thought of these two colors and knew it was destined. It was destined to be this sweater. Especially because he has these gorgeous dark blue eyes, and he's gonna be a little genius. I just know it. Both of his parents, my sister and her husband Nate, are both very academic. They're very smart. They both read everything they can lay their hands on, and they're already reading. I mean, so they have this program where it's like you're supposed to read 1,000 books or something before the age of 5, something like that, and with your kid. And Jill and Nate are already on like, I don't even know, like 400 some, and he's 6 months. Not even, he's 5 months this month. So Jill's like, yeah, we're gonna have to up that number. But of course these are all picture books and stuff like that, so they're not too hard to get through a couple of them a night. Once they start going into more like longer chapter books, which he might not be reading by the age of 5, although he's my sister's child, so he probably will be. But yeah, so he's just gonna be this little academic, and that little sweater with the elbow patches is just perfect. I love it so much. So that will be his Christmas present, and I am just so looking forward to Jill and Nate opening that for him, because I think they are going to love it so much. So yeah, I want to make another one like right now. Seriously, that sweater is one I would repeat over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And thank goodness it has about 1 million sizes included. It goes from baby to like 4XL in adult size. So I can make one for every person I know. And I probably will, because I love that pattern so much. Again, that's the Gramps cardigan by Tin Can Knits. So, yeah, I will take lots of pictures and maybe some video of Ronan, and I know that will be super big on him right now because it is the 1 year size, but we'll probably end up trying it on him, and it'll be adorable even though it'll be too big. So, yeah. Okay, so I got through my works in progress, got through finished objects. I have no spinning. I know I've been failing on the spinning front, but once Christmas is over, I will be able to sit down at my wheel again. Yay, because Spinzilla happened a long time ago. That happened in September or October. September. I don't know. And anyway, it's been a few months. Either way, it's been a few months, and I haven't spun since then. So I have some gorgeous fiber that is just waiting for me to spin it up, and I really, really can't wait. But it's gonna have to wait a little bit, unfortunately. I don't have any new yarn yet. I'm waiting for one of my orders to come in that I ordered for my Christmas Eve cast-on socks. So let's talk about that. The Christmas Eve cast-on is something that Danny of the Little Bobbins Knits podcast always does. And I heard about this earlier this year and was just kind of enchanted by the thought of having a special pair of socks that you cast on Christmas Eve and that you knit, through the rest of December into the new year. And those socks kind of represent well, for me and for Danny, I think, the peace and the love and the just joy that you feel at Christmas time. And Christmas is, for me, a very joyful time. I love it so much. And so to have those socks and remember what we were doing and how I was feeling at the time, I think would just be fantastic. So I knew for sure I wanted to do the Christmas Eve cast on. And then I thought it would be really, really fun if I invited all of you guys to join me and to join Danny's group. So this is kind of piggybacking. I'm giving her total credit for this. I did not come up with this idea, but I wanted to encourage you guys to join in, and so I'm going to be giving away a couple of prizes. I'm still gathering them together, but there will be some really, really fun ones, and I want to start a thread on Ravelry where you guys can post what yarn you're using, what pattern you're going to use, and just while you're knitting the socks, I want, updates, pictures if you want to, encouragement for other people, and I will be picking the prize from that chatter thread. So you don't have to finish your pair of socks within a certain amount of time. I will be picking probably at the end of January. And the more times you post updates and progress, the more times that you comment on someone's project or just share encouragement, then you will have more chances of winning. So I just want everyone to really just get involved and participate and just, I don't know, talk to each other. And yeah, I think it'll be really, really fun. So I am going to be using some yarn from Tiffany of the Knittin' from the Mitten podcast. Her Etsy store is called The Woolen Homestead, and she dyes this colorway called Vintage Christmas. And I've been looking at this colorway since I saw it, and that was probably a month ago, maybe a little more than that. And I finally decided, I don't have any Christmas themed yarn. I really, really want to do this Christmas Eve cast on with some special kind of Christmassy yarn, and I thought that would be the perfect yarn to do it in. So I've already ordered it, and Tiffany says it's in the mail, so I hopefully will get it sometime this week, and I'll be able to show it to you next week. I'm not going to start the thread on Ravelry until probably a few days before the cast on itself, and then we can start sharing ideas and yarn that we are going to use. So get out there, find some Christmassy yarn from an amazing hand dyer, and and just have fun. Or use yarn from your stash. I mean, that's okay. You can use anything as long as it's, you're casting on a pair of socks Christmas Eve, you can come join us. So yeah, I'm excited. So I have a few more Christmassy Christmas presents to make. And so that's what's going to be coming up next on my needles. I have a lot of projects that I'm dying to start, but again, they will have to wait until later. And I have yarn that I'm dying to buy, but again, I'm on a yarn diet, and I'm trying my hardest to go through more of my stash before I buy any yarn. A couple of yarn dyers though that I've been looking at. I just noticed that a Homespun House, Molly, just did a shop update the other day, and she has a couple of yarns that I'm dying for. She has one called Introverting, which I think is hilarious because I'm a total introvert, and I just think it'd be really fun to have a yarn called Introverting. It's my favorite thing to do. One of her other colorways is called Bookworm, which I also love, partly because of the color, partly because of the name. I'm a total bookworm, and actually lately I've been getting a little more back into reading a little bit more. I always read, I always have a book going, but a lot of times different things in my life kind of take priority, and crafting and knitting often lately have been taking like major priority. So I've been missing my books. I've been missing reading. I've been missing just losing myself in a different world. And lately I've been doing a little bit more of that. Excuse me. Oh, the coffee's cold. I don't like cold coffee at all. Ugh. Anyway, so I recently started reading Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. And lately I've been hearing everybody talking about Jane Austen. And it made me want to read one of her books so badly. And actually Mansfield Park is, I think Mansfield Park and Lady Susan, she wrote Lady Susan, yeah. I always get that confused with Charlotte Bronte. For some reason, I always think Charlotte Bronte wrote Lady Susan. Anyway, I never read Mansfield Park. I've never watched the movie. I've never listened to the book. I don't know the story. So it's kind of fun to be reading a Jane Austen book where I don't know what's going to happen. And I've been really enjoying that. I actually stayed up a little too late last night reading because I kind of got caught up in it. So that made me want to knit all the Jane Austen projects and pull out all of my Jane Austen Knits magazines. Okay, have you guys seen these? Because I've been I have all of them. Literally, this is all of them. I'm so excited. And I've had them for years. This one was in 2011. My sister gave this to me for Christmas, the winter of 2011. And since then, I have collected all of the rest of them. But it's confession time. I've never knit anything out of them. Nothing. I've stared at them. I've read the articles. I've made plans. I've paged through them time and time and time again. Never knit anything out of these. Ugh. So, one of my goals for the new year is to go through my books and magazines and pick out a project. Of course, I'm not going to be knitting a project from each and every one of them, but the ones that I've never knit anything from, I'm going to try and pick out a project, flag it, do whatever, make a list, and hopefully get to most of them in the new year. I have all of these amazing knitting books and magazines, and I mean, there's only so much time, but when I'm looking for a new project, I too often just go to Ravelry and search for a project. And I have some amazing things in my library, amazing things in my queue, but I also have amazing things on my bookshelf, and I want to give them a fair shot. So when I am looking for a new project, I am going to not only consult Ravelry, but I'm going to consult my list of projects in magazines like these. Because there's some beautiful things in here, guys. Jane Austen knits. I mean, it's inspired by Jane Austen and her books and her time period, so how can they not be beautiful? But still. So yeah, I took these out again, and I've been looking through them again, and it's just so much fun. Oh my gosh. So much fun. And did you guys know that Bumblebee Acres Fiber Farm, which I talk about all the time, I'm sorry, but they have amazing yarn. Anyway, they are doing a Jane Austen yarn club next year. And I swear, their yarn clubs are bad for my wallet. I haven't joined one yet, but I'm so tempted, especially by the Jane Austen one. I mean, I know a few dyers have like book-themed, well, everyone has book-themed yarn. I mean, Harry Potter, come on. But I don't know, having yarn based on like classic literature, be still my heart. I love it. So I am really tempted by the Jane Austen Yarn Club. And if you are tempted as well, you should go to bumblebeeacresfarm.com, click on their Fiber Farm link, click on their Jane Austen Yarn Club link, and you'll be good to go. Anyway, all the yarns. I want all the yarns. All the fandom yarns, please. Anyway, I think that just about does it for me today. I will be getting back in touch with you guys hopefully this week. Maybe I'll post another vlog episode or two, and I'll be back next week, I think. I think next week will be the last one before Christmas, but I'll definitely be back here on Monday of next week and film another episode for you guys. Hopefully I'll have a lot more progress. I'll show you what I decided to do with my epic knit fail, which is my sister's reading mitts. And yeah. Oh God, I'm so sad about that. Anyway. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Get lots of knitting, spinning, crocheting, weaving, crafting done. And yeah, and just have a great holiday season. Everyone seems to be in such a merry mood. And it's just fun. It's my favorite time of year. So go out, enjoy it. Enjoy the snow if you have snow. Enjoy the sun if you're down in like the southern hemisphere and it's not winter at all by you. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys all very soon. Bye!